All right. So we will be covering a lot of things over here today. We will also be busting certain myths regarding design thinking, and also we will give you an idea of what is it that you will get from this particular masterclass that we are going to do. Uh, there are many questions, I'm very, very sure. And those questions, you can obviously use the chat box to, keep asking your questions. But at the, end of this particular, session, we will allow participants, all of you, that is to ask questions for 30 minutes or around 30 to 40 minutes so that, you can get clarity on what's really in it for you. So, without wasting any further time, let me quickly begin with the agenda for today. So, welcome to the Design Thinking HR Masterclass. And Harini and I were having a discussion, 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back. And this is an idea that we came up with because, there are a lot of programs happening on design thinking, some good, some not so good. And what Harini and I have always believed is that, you know, uh, if we are going to be doing a program, we might as well make it live. We might as well, make it, uh, you know, uh, advertise will make it so exciting and intriguing so that you can understand the how part of it rather than just the what and the why, because honestly, in this world of technology, in this world of information, there is nothing which is hidden. Everything is available to everybody. So the content is something which is the king, and Harini and I have designed this program in a way that it can not only help the HR folks, but it can also help the others to implement this if you are, let's say, a freelance trainer, or if you are wanting to take up design thinking as a part of your kitty. So let me start off by telling you how these 8 hours will benefit you. And the first and foremost thing of how this will benefit you is, one is you will get a complete understanding of design thinking and its application across functions. However, this being a HR masterclass, we will be focusing more on the HR case studies. Now, these are case studies which Harini and I have implemented in our respective areas. We have use this in our consulting area also. So, when I'm doing a lot of programs with a lot of clients of mine, I have used design thinking for them. So that is a case study that we will be bringing to you, of course, by not taking the client's name. Harini is consulting a lot of organizations, and she is an integral part of the strategic team over there for transforming their business. So she will bring in a lot of aspects from her side. I will bring in a lot of aspects from my side, and we will make these 8 hours so interactive that you will not feel at the end of 8 hours that yaar ye sirf gyan tha. This is something that we want to bring to the table. So that's the first thing that you will get out of this program if you were to subscribe for this particular program. Second thing is, we will teach you something called as evangelizing design thinking by inculcating a designer's mindset. So how does a designer really think? What is design? Why is the entire world going gaga about design thinking? What is so special in design thinking which is probably not so great in, let's say, a creative problem solving or any other innovation and problem solving? What really is design thinking? That is something that we will be covering in this program. So, irrespective of whichever function you come from, irrespective of whichever field you come from, you will be able to take away a learning from here, which you will be able to evangelize at the end of this program, right? Third, and a very core aspect of this program is, we will be giving you globally accepted tools which are not really available across the platforms, and we will help you to understand how to apply those design thinking tools. So one is just the learning of this particular piece, and second is more on the application side, saying that how is it that we can implement it for a short term, mid term, and long term implementation. Now, what is short term, mid term, long term is something that we will cover in the program. We will teach you visual ideation techniques. So I'm sure you've gone through many training programs wherein you have understood innovation and problem solving tools. You have used brainstorming tools. You have used mind maps and all those things you've used. But how do you visually ideate is something that we will bring to the table. These are tools which are generally found or used in Stanford IDEO and are also used in Harvard to a large extent. So we will be teaching you these visual ideation techniques. It'll also not only help. Guys, can I please request you to be on mute? Yeah, thank you very much. All right. So not only will this sharpen your creative mind, but it will also give you an idea of what are the other tools that you can probably use for getting in more ideas, right? Uh, we will be finding long-term solutions to your existing problems. So what we will be doing is we are going to be taking 25 participants max for this particular program, and we will send you certain pre-work. There will be certain chats which will happen with all the participants to understand what are the challenges that they are facing. We will convert those into case studies, and we will be using those so that you will get an idea of how you will be able to utilize this immediately after going back to your workplace. So this is something that you will get from this program. Important, very, very important. Not only will you be able to use it in your professional life, but also you will be able to use this in your personal life. And at the end of the program, of course, after the 4 days are over, uh, I will be giving you certain tips on how I use this as a part of my coaching journey also. So that is also something that will help you to understand how design thinking can be used as a part of coaching also. So that is something that you will be able to get. If you are a freelance trainer, and I'm sure there are a couple of you who have joined in to see what is on offer. Yes, you can use this for your trainings if you are a freelance trainer. This participant handout that we will be giving you will be able to cover these aspects. So yes, you will be able to use it for your training programs also. The most interesting part about this program, and I believe this why this is so interesting, is I will be giving you live setups. So, what are these live setups? Is let's say you want to run an empathy map. What is the exact setup that is required for running a beautiful empathy interview? What is it that you need to do? What are the roles that you need to play? How is it that you can get the maximum benefit step by step? It's like it's like a recipe to a dish. This will be given to you. There'll be 4 setups which will be given to you, which you can not only use in the professional world, not only in the personal world, but also when you're talking to people to just get an idea of what is happening. You will be able to use this. So these are setups that are ready made, pre-built for you. So all you need to do is copy paste. There is no edit also that is required. So that's the beauty of this setup. uh, these setups again have been taken from Stanford and Harvard and IDEO. So these setups will help you to understand which area of design thinking can you use these particular things to get maximum benefit. Harini, would you want to add on to anything, because this was what I thought of?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely. Am I
absolutely. Am I
audible, Rohit?
audible, Rohit?
Yes, you are.
I think you
I
have
think you have
to
to
mute because
mute
I'm
because
getting
I'm
an
getting
echo.
an echo.
Okay,
Okay,
right.
right.
I just want
I
to
just
give
want
a
to give
brief
a brief
idea
idea
about
about
how
how
the whole
the whole
content was
content was
curated.
curated.
I've
I've
been
been
experiencing
experiencing
transformational
transformational
HR work. I've
HR
been
work. I've
carrying
been
out
carrying out
transformational HR
transformational
work
HR work
right
right
from
from
grassroots level
grassroots
to
level to
leadership level
leadership level
across five or
across
six
five or
different
six different
industries. That has
industries.
been
That
my
has been
entire
my
career
entire
span.
career span.
Over the
Over the
journey, there have
journey, there
been
have been
tremendous amount
tremendous
of
amount of
learnings on
learnings
how to
on how
make
to make
HR and a very effective function. How to keep building the credibility of HR by making HR professionals solutioning ability very strong. So that was where the need actually arose. And later on, the last 2 years or so, I have been doing a lot of interaction with people across various businesses in the HR fraternity. And I've also been working very closely with the academia, with the B schools, including the IIMs. I have been invited to 4 IIMs so far, where I've been focusing on what we can do to bring in design thinking as a subject into the curriculum. Now, in that context, a need arose that while there are some courses on design thinking that are available, available like off the shelf, even the courses which are specific to design thinking in HR or for HR may not be directly usable in the Indian context. A lot of them come from the Western background, and the problems to each country, to each organization for that matter, are very, very unique. Every organization has its own fingerprint. So we came across this idea, and we felt that there is a need to create very specific, customized, curated content for companies in the Indian context, for HR professionals in the Indian context. And that's how the idea of this program really came up. So while we are going to be using globally proclaimed tools and techniques, the cases that are going to be discussed will be something which each one of you will be able to relate to. That's one. The second thing is, right now, you must be wondering why this is the time. Why are we doing it now? We're doing it now because right now the entire globe, for that matter, is at a point where there is a huge transformation happening in the way we work. So this is probably an appropriate time for HR professionals to gear up and show that they are able to add utmost value to the organization in order to cope up and reboot the business. So that's the whole point as to why we are doing it now. So these two things in the background, I think your takeaways from here will be something which, like Bruhat said, you will be able to put right away into practical use as soon as you get back to your workplace once you finish this course. So that's how the whole content has been curated, and you'll see more of it as you go through. That's all, Bruhat. You can take over from here.
Great. Thank you so much, Harini. And yes, I did miss that point out. So thank you so much for bringing that in. So yes, while we will be customizing this a lot, there will be a lot of questions that you may also have, post day 1, day 2, day 3. So it's not as if we will leave you absolutely stranded. We will be continuously chatting. There will be a WhatsApp group which will be created for the participants, and we will be sharing a lot of ideas and things which may help you on the go. So design thinking is a very beautiful methodology, and people have just ruined it by tagging it as something. So the idea is not only to conduct this program, but to make you realize that it's a very, very beautiful methodology that will really help you in the short term and the long term. So, with that said, I'm sure you're wondering who your facilitators are. So, of course, one of them, is me. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me, and this is just a small snapshot of my profile per se. To One is to tell you that you are in safe hands, and two is to ensure that when you take a decision, it's a measured decision that you take. It should not happen that you are confused and you take a decision just for the sake of it. Harini and I both will not want that thing to happen, because if you are completely involved in the program, I guarantee you that after the 8 hours, you will be able to take away something which you have not imagined of, and that's a guarantee from my side. Now, along with me is a true stalwart from the HR function. She has been my mentor, my guide, and I'm honestly very honored to be doing this program with Harini. Of course, there are a lot of things that Harini's profile has, and it was very difficult to pick and choose what to put on the slide. But I think this should give you an idea of of what Harini really does. I'm sure those of you who are following her on LinkedIn, she doesn't need any introduction. But those of you who don't know her, please be wary of the fact, and please be rest assured that she will also be equally partnering with me in the facilitation of this workshop. Generally people have a perception that trainers है तो ज्यादा बात करेंगे, उनको बात नहीं करने देंगे. That is not what we are going to be doing. What we will be doing is, we will be exchanging places, wherein she will be focusing more on the application part of the HR side, and I will be helping her through the facilitation of that piece, and we will be continuously changing roles with each other. So these are, both of us have put in a lot of hard work for this. And to just tell you that I just finished batch 1 15-20 minutes back. So 4:45 we finished batch 1. And they have of course submitted their projects to us, so that we can refine that and give it back to them. So batch 1 is pretty happy with the kind of output that they've got, because not only did they find value in terms of the content, because content technically is available everywhere, but it was more on how they are able to change their thought process on design thinking, and how they are able to demystify those myths. And that's exactly what we will be doing here today. Harin and I will be sharing certain things about design thinking that may change your perception about design thinking. So there are certain basics of design thinking that we will be getting into. But yes, Harini and I will be doing this together, and both of us will be available for any help before, during, and also after the program. So it's not as if कि हमने पैसा बना लिया बैठ गए. No, that's not the intent of this program. The intent of this program is to really add value to the HR function, really add value to all of you in terms of getting some content which you can not only customize for yourself, but you can experience it while you are doing certain things. So with this particular thing, let us begin about design thinking, as to what is design thinking. Now, I'm sure you know this. This is a 5-step process, and in design thinking, first, there's an inspire, ideate, and implement, and these are divided into inspire, ideate, and implement. However, there are certain myths that we will be, busting before you can start asking your questions. So I'll go through this step by step, and then move into the myths and the facts part of it. Right. So typically in design thinking, what we say is that we start with the empathize phase. The reason we start with the empathize phase is for you to understand the user in detail. Design thinking is a human-centered process to innovation, right? And what it does is it draws from the designer's toolkit and sees whether we can merge it with technology, or we can do something which can give you the best results. So in design thinking, we don't look at the process, we don't look at the things, we don't look at anything which is not related to the human. Always the user is in the center, and the user can be an internal employee of the organization or your external customer. Now, for the trainers who are here, it can be your client, or it can be your fellow trainers. For the HR folks, if you are an HR BP, it can be your CEO, your HR head, or the employees, or it can be the vendor partners that you're working with, or it can be anybody who you think will be able to understand what they want from you, and you will be able to decode that using the tools that we teach you in design thinking. So if we go through this 5-step process one by one, what empathize does is it basically it learns users behavior by using observation, by using immersion, listening, and talking with them. In the program, what we will be doing is we will run a live empathy mapping with you, so that you understand as to how empathy mapping is really done. Now, like I said, there is all the material available, but how is it that you exactly get the right kind of need? That is something that we will be covering in the program, and that will be more on a conversational basis rather than just a one on one basis kind of a thing. You will be able to get your problems, you will be able to understand how an empathy map is created, and thereby move to the next step, which is called define. Here we create something called as a POV, which is called as a point of view. And in the last batch, we had a very funny scenario wherein there was an empathy statement which was created, and a POV which was created, which was absolutely the same thing. And the participants are like, "Bro, you said this is how it is." And then when we did a conversation, they realized that wow, these are two completely different things, and it just opened the mind up. So while you may be aware of defining a problem statement, we will teach you how to define and refine a problem statement so that it doesn't come to you as a shock whenever you're doing a design thinking project. So yeah, there is another tool which we use in define, and that is something that we will cover in the HR masterclass. Also, we will run that particular case study or that particular task that we are taking right from the empathize to the testing part. So you will be able to see a parallel application, right? So it's not something that empathize के लिए अलग case studies लिए हैं, define के लिए अलग case studies लिए हैं. No, we're not going to be doing that. We will take one case study. We will go through the empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test phase, and tell you how it looks at the end of the day. And I'm sure you must be wondering, इतना सब 8 घंटे में कैसे होगा? The thing that we're going to do is we are only going to focus on the core of the subject, and we're not going to be beating around the bush wherein we do virtual meeting icebreakers and do certain activities that take up that time. We will be only focusing on the core subject, thereby ensuring that every minute you spend in the masterclass is invested absolutely wisely, so that you are able to not only go and implement this, but you're also able to understand that how you can fast track a design thinking process. Also, post that if there are any challenges that you face, Harini and I are always there. So you can always give us a call and we'll be able to help you to modify things, and you will be able to work with that. The third is visual ideation technique. So we teach you how to defer judgment. There are divergent and convergent hypothesized techniques that we use in design thinking. And yeah, these are not jargons, these are some things that we use in design thinking. And we ensure that you become the game changer for your organization. Uh, in the ideate phase, also, people only think that step three is ideate. But we teach you something which is a part two of step three, which is called as synthesizing. And synthesizing is a very, very important part, which most of the design thinkers forget because it's a global context and it's not the Indian context. So, bringing to the table what Harini has told you, we will be Indianizing this entire piece, and we will also be telling you what happens in the global scenario. So yeah, ideation and synthesizing is something that we will do with you. We will bring your ideas to life. And Harini has always appreciated me for prototype. The reason for that is whenever you listen to prototype, you think about a product. You think about the end product, which is a 3D image of your idea. But I will be teaching you something called as service prototyping. And I have certain tools which Harini and I have created together, which will help you to understand that how do you prototype from the service industry point of view. Now it's very easy technically to produce an idea in a manufacturing piece wherein there's a product which comes at the end of the day. But how is it that you can do it in a service? How is it that you can do it for restructuring an organization? How can you do it for HR SOPs? How can you do it for restructuring an onboarding process? How can you do it for creating an employee experience? So all these things will come into the picture, and we will teach you how to do service prototyping, and that is actually the game changer according to me in this particular module per se. No design thinking organization today is working on service prototypes. All of them are focusing on the product prototype and focusing on the 3D image. We will teach you something which will change your perspective about service prototyping. And the final thing is, how do you take this to the users? How do you learn and try again? And like I said, post testing, there will be something on how you will be able to present this scenario in a way that you will be able to understand कि हाँ ये आगे चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा, right? So this is the design thinking process. Harini, would you like to add anything over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
although
although
you're
you're
looking at
looking
this
at this
as
as
a
a
five-step
five-step
process,
process,
the
the
entire beauty
entire
in
beauty
this,
in
and
this,
I'm I'm
and
I'm talking
I'm
about this
talking about
purely
this
from
purely from
experience.
experience.
When I
When I
had
had
used to
used
apply
to
design
apply
thinking
design
as
thinking
a
as
as quite
as
a
quite
pressure in the
pressure in the
HR
HR
field,
field,
I was not
I was
really
not
aware
really
of these
aware
step
of these
by step
by
process.
step
But
process. But
what
what
I
I
did
did
at
at
that
that
time
time
was
was
there was
there
something
was
which I
something which
needed
I
to
needed to
review,
review,
and I
and I
unconsciously
unconsciously
followed
followed.
started with the
Started with the
empathize phase,
empathize
where
phase,
I
where
had
I
these
had these
conversations
conversations
with the cross
with the
section of
cross
the
section of the
population and
population
all
and
of that.
all of that.
And
And
I actually
I
went
actually
by
went
these
by
steps, and
these
then
steps. And
today
then
when I
today,
look
when I look
back and
back
I
and
actually
I actually
reflect on
reflect on
what went
what
well
went
and
well
what
and
did
what
not, and
did
the
not,
various
and the
things
various
that I
things that
did
I
as
did
as an
as
HR
an HR
practitioner,
practitioner,
what really
what
strikes
really
to me
strikes to
as
me as
remarkable is
remarkable is
wherever I
wherever
could
I could
utilize these
utilize these
steps in
steps
design
in
thinking,
design thinking,
not
not
necessarily just a
necessarily
step
just
by
a
step
step by step
sequential process
sequential
which
process which
stops with step
stops with
5,
step
which
5, which
actually
actually
is a
is a
cyclic
cyclic
and
and
iterative
iterative
process which
process
keeps
which
going
keeps
on
going
with
on with
iterations. It keeps
iterations. It
going
keeps
on in
going on in
different levels
different
of
levels of
cycles
cycle
till you
till
reach
you reach
something which is an
something which is an
absolute
absolute
service which
service
is
which is
absolutely ready
absolutely
to use
ready to
by the
use
end
by the
customer.
end customer.
So I know
So I know
when I
when
reflect
I
back, I
reflect back,
realize
I
that
realize
all
that
of
all
those
of
things
those
which have
things which have
really stood the
really
test
stood
of
the test
time,
of
the
time, the
processes which
processes
I
which I
created in some
created in some
organizations, which I
organizations which I
actually left
actually left
10 years
10
ago,
years
and they're
ago,
still
and they're
using
still
those
using those
processes.
processes.
When I
When I
reflect, I
reflect,
notice
I
that
notice that
they have stood
they
the
have
test
stood
of
the test
time
of time
purely
purely
because
because
I was able
I
to
was able to
apply design
apply
thinking
design
as a
thinking as a
process there.
process there.
And of course,
And
there
of
have
course,
been
there have
certain
been certain
instances where I have
instances where
done
I have
knee-jerk
done knee-jerk
reactions,
reaction,
and I have
and I have
really not
really not
applied a
applied a
human-centric
human-centric
approach.
approach.
And those are
And those are
processes,
processes,
those are
those are
things
things
in the
in
HR
the HR
practice which
practice
have
which
really
have
not
really
been able
not
to
been
stand
able
its
to
time.
stand
So
its
there
time.
have
So there
been
have
my
been
hits
my
and
hits
misses
and
as well.
misses as well.
So
So
when we are
when
actually
we are
going to be
actually going to
talking
be talking
about each
about
of these
each of these
stages and
stages
what
and
each of
what
these
each of these
stages actually
stages
does
actually
to
does to
the end
the end
product or the
product
end
or the end
service
service in our
in the HR
context, in the
context
HR
that we're going to
context that
look
we're
at.
going to look at.
At that time,
At
you'll
that
be
time, you'll be
actually
actually
you'll be
you'll
hearing
be
me talking
hearing me
about those
talking
very
about those very
specific
specific
examples and
examples
how
and
it
how it
either became
either
a hit or
became
a
a hit or
miss.
a miss.
So during
So
this
during this
entire
entire
stage,
stage,
as we
as we
progress from
progress
step
from
by
step
step,
by
as we
step, as
look
we
at each
look
of
at each
these,
of these,
you will
you
actually
will actually
learn
learn
how it
how
works
it
when you
works when you
apply
apply
to,
to,
like
like
how
Duet
it
said,
works
how
when
it
you
works
apply
when you
in the
apply in the
service
service
industry. Because
industry. Because
HR,
HR,
if you
if you
separate out
separate
HR,
out
make it
HR, make it
absolutely
absolutely
industry
industry
agnostic, and look
agnostic
at
and look
HR
at
as a
HR as a
business, it's
business, it's
definitely a
definitely a
service
service
organization by
organization
itself.
by itself.
So
So
all of
all
these
of these
applications
applications
together
together
will give you
will
a
give you
clear
a clear
understanding as to
understanding
how
as
to
to how to
visualize
visualize
what would
what
be
would
the
be
end
the end
requirement of a
requirement of a
customer.
customer.
I mean, the whole
The whole
aspect of how do you
aspect of how do you
visualize that,
visualize that,
how do you give
how do
it
you
a
give it a
form and a
form and a
physical form in
physical
your
form in your
mind,
mind,
and how do you
and how do you
convert all of
convert
that
all of
into
that into
ideas
ideas
which will
which will
absolutely stand
absolutely
the test
stand
of
the
time.
test of time.
That's what the
That's what the
learning in all
learning in
these
all these
steps are going to
steps
be.
are going to be.
Over to you, Pratik.
Over to you.
Thank you so much, Harini, for that value addition. And yes, that's exactly where this program is a little different from the ones that you may have heard of or you may have attended. And again, I'm not trying to sell anything to you over here. What Harini and I are trying to tell you is that there are various ways in which you can apply design thinking. But fortunately or unfortunately, there are very few people who really understand this because they have actually applied it in their life. What they've done is they either take up content and just tell you saying that ye karo or ho jayega, versus saying that all right, if this is the case, how is it that I can use it a little differently in order to get the kind of result that I am looking at in terms of my processes, policies, my users, my stakeholders. How is it that we can do that? So to understand that a little in detail, Harini and I are going to be sharing certain myths and facts with you. And I wanted to do a very very quick activity. I will be putting a statement over there, and in the chat box, if you could quickly type myth or fact, that'll give me an idea as to what you understand from design thinking. All right. Of course, it's not necessary that you are right the first time. If you are right, great. If not, we will be able to tell you why you are not right. Right. So quickly move to your chat boxes and let's look at the first statement. The first statement over here is design thinking can only be used for creating new products. Quickly, what do you think? Is it a myth or a fact? All right. So we have myth, myth, no myths, myth, myths. Myths. All right, fantastic. So yes, all of you are absolutely right. It is a myth that design thinking can only be used for creating new products. It can be used in your existing pieces also. To give you a very small example of the organization that Harini and I worked for, there was something which was related to employee engagement, and the problem statement came to us that. We need to really work on employee engagement per se, and this employee engagement thing is really bogging us down. So change the process, change the policies, do whatever you want to. And Harini and I were brainstorming, and we weren't able to get through as to how employee engagement can really be a problem. The employee engagement scores were great. The employee satisfaction survey that we did was great. The 360-degree feedback that we took was great. So we didn't really see a problem over there. This is where we started doing empathy interviews with both sides, the managers as well as managers as in the heads, and as well as the people around. And what we gathered as data was it was not really about the engagement, because trust me, an engaged employee can also leave, right? So what was it really about? It was really about an experience that an employee gets, because the feelers that we were getting over there were that while we are engaged, we are not able to get that excitement, or we are not able to get that wow, saying that ke, मुझे काम करने में मजा आ रहा है. Now if you were to ask them to explain this, they're like, नहीं वो नहीं पता पर मजा नहीं आ रहा है. And how do you define a problem when you say मजा नहीं आ रहा है? अब मजे का definition बहुत सारा हो सकता है. So what is it that they are looking at when they are looking at the fun aspect? When we created all of that, we actually focused on the problem statement, saying, how might we really transition from employee engagement to employee experience? And when we shifted that focus, the results were absolutely amazing. We were able to create customized assessment development centers. We were able to give them a work environment which was really beautiful. And I think even today, I'm not too sure now because it's been 3 years now since we've left the organization. Even now, probably they are following some of those processes and some of those things that we had left over there. And that is the beauty of design thinking. If you implement it once, it runs for a long period of time, and you only need to tweak in between. You don't need to really change everything that comes in your way. So that is one of the examples that I could just think of when this particular thing came in. All right, so all those who are there on the first slide, I'm sure this is something that design thinking is not about what it looks like, but about how it works. Myth or fact? Okay, right. Fantastic. So wow. Everyone is really looking at the slides with intent. Excellent. Yes, it is a fact. Many people think that the end result or the end product is design thinking, but no, it's not about really what it looks like. It's actually how it works. Right. Let's move on to the next statement. Design thinking produces faster results. Myth, fact? Okay. Fact, myths, fact, myths, fact. Now the confusion begins. The confusion begins because it is a myth. People think that design thinking kiya फटाफट results आएंगे, but no, that is not what it is. What design thinking really is that it is a mindset, it's a methodology, and it takes time. But the beauty of design thinking is that it is so flexible that you can pick and choose steps from between, and you will be able to apply it in order to get faster results. So, as a complete process, design thinking may not give you faster results. All right, 99% of the time, it does not give you faster result. It takes time, and that is a myth that we will be busting in our masterclass per se. And the next statement, when Harini will share an experience of why that particular statement is a myth or a fact, you will realize how it connects to the top three. So before Harini comes in and talks about the story, human design thinking as a methodology is human centric. I'm sure this is an easy one. Myth or fact? Okay, fact. All right, so yes, you've got it right. I actually said it aloud, so I'm glad everyone is paying attention. Fantastic. All right. So, Harini, if you could give us an example of this so that it can link to the previous three also.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
So,
So,
I've been
I've been
working in
working in
organizations where
organizations where
matrix
matrix
reporting, that
reporting,
is
that is
line
line
management as well as a
management as well
project
as a project
management, was very
management was very
prevalent.
prevalent.
So, whether it
So
was
whether
in
it
the
was in the
ITES space
ITES
or in
space
the
or
oil
in
and
the oil
gas
and gas
project
project
management space,
management
that was
space,
the
that was
business
the
model,
business
and that
model, and
was
that was
the
the
employee
employee
contract. That's how
contract.
it
That's how
worked.
it worked.
Now,
Now
here
here
problems are
problems
very
are very
unique,
unique,
right?
right?
So even
So even
before I can
before
call
I
it a
can call it a
problem,
problem,
situations are
situations
very
are
unique
very
here,
unique here
because you
because
have
you have
multiple
multiple
stakeholders
stakeholders
who will
who
want to
will want to
define
define
processes in a
processes in a
particular manner.
particular manner.
They will want
They
to
will want
bring
to
in
bring in
systems which are
systems
very
which are very
specific,
specific,
and
and
ultimately,
ultimately,
what is
what
the
is the
desired
desired
result of
result
an
of an
employee
employee
experience through
experience
that
through
the
that
entire
the entire
journey,
journey
that gets
that
a
gets a
backseat, right?
backseat, right?
So in
So
this
in this
context,
context,
we've had,
we've had,
Brihad and I
Brihad and
together
I together
have had a
have had a
fantastic
fantastic
experience
experience
in
in
line design
line
thinking,
design
when we
thinking when
came
we
up
came
with
up with
certain
certain
processes and
processes and
procedures in the
procedures in the
employee life
employee
cycle,
life cycle,
right from
right from
induction to
induction to
exit.
exit.
So that
So
was
that
one
was one
experience where
experience where
we figured
we
out
figured
that
out that
put the
put the
employee in the
employee in the
middle of
middle of
everything.
everything.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
you
Now
might
you
have
might have
multiple
multiple
systems, you might
systems,
have
you might have
multiple
multiple
tools,
tools,
different
different
customers or
customers or
clients will
clients
have
will
will
have
have certain
certain
expectations. All
expectations.
that is
All
fine.
that is fine.
But what
But what
happens to
happens
the
to the
employee's
employee's
experience as
experience
he
as he
progresses from
progresses from
induction into the
induction into the
organization
organization
right through to
right through
exit?
to exit?
So when we
So
put
when
the
we put the
employee at the
employee at
center
the
of
center of
everything,
everything,
and then we
and then we
redesigned
redesigned
all the
all the
processes
processes
around an
around an
employee
employee
experience,
experience,
what we
what
got
we
at the
got
end
at
of
the
it
end of
is,
it is,
as one of the
as one
very
of the very
desired side
desired
effects,
side
a
effects,
lot
a
of
lot of
unnecessary
unnecessary
unwanted
unwanted
processes,
processes,
things that
things that
employees had to
employees
do
had to
during the
do
employee
during the
life
employee
cycle,
life
those
cycle,
could be
those could be
easily
easily
eliminated.
eliminated.
And
And
how that
how that
change
change
we could
we
drive
could
through
drive through
was
was
because we were
because
able
we
to
were
get the
able to get the
stakeholders
stakeholders
into
into
consent for
consent
whatever we
for
were
whatever we
doing,
were doing,
and then we
and then we
progressed.
progressed.
So if we
So
put
if
an
we put an
employee in the
employee in
middle
the
of
middle of
everything, and
everything,
when I say
and when I
employee,
say
not just
employee,
the
not just
employee,
the employee,
let's say when we
let's say
put
when we put
humans at the
humans
middle
at
of
the middle of
everything,
everything,
whether it
whether
is
it
an
is an
employee who is
employee who
going
is
to
going
go
to
through
go
those
through those
touch
touch
points,
points,
or whether
or
it is a
whether it is a
project
project
manager, or
manager,
whether it
or
is
whether it
line
is
manager,
line
or
manager,
whether it
or
is
whether
it is the
it is
end
the
client,
end client,
whoever the
whoever the
stakeholder may be.
stakeholder may
In
be.
fact, in
In
one of
fact,
my
in one of
previous
my previous
organizations where I did
organizations where
huge
I did
amount of
huge amount of
transformation work,
transformation work,
was a
was a
multinational in
multinational
the
in the
manufacturing space.
manufacturing space.
There we could
There we
even
could
get
even get
family
family
members as
members as
stakeholders for
stakeholders
certain
for certain
decisions.
decisions.
So when we
So when
started
we
putting
started putting
people at the
people at
center
the
of
center of
things,
things,
and we
and
worked
we
around
worked around
all the
all the
processes, the
processes,
people
the people
related
related
procedures
procedures
around that,
around
the
that,
result
the
was
result was
absolutely
absolutely
magical, and it
magical, and it
transformed the
transformed the
entire
entire
all the
all
teams
the teams
into
into
absolutely
absolutely
self-managed teams.
self-managed teams.
Now, if we
Now,
had
if
looked
we had
at it
looked
the
at
other
it the
way,
other way,
if we had
if
just
we had
wanted
just
to
wanted to
ensure that
ensure that
every
every
single
single
customer is
customer is
happy with
happy
us
with us
deploying the
deploying the
tools and the
tools and the
systems that they
systems that
wanted
they
us to
wanted us
use,
to use,
we would have
we
been
would
in a
have been in a
situation where
situation where
one
one
employee,
employee,
in order
in
to
order to
ensure that he
ensure
is
that he is
compliant with
compliant
two
with
of his
two of
project
his project
managers,
managers,
will have to
will
have
have to have
to comply
to
with two
comply
or
with
three
two or three
systems, and
systems,
that would have
and that
ended
would
up
have ended
in
up
doing a
in
lot of
doing a lot of
redundant work.
redundant work.
So
So
putting the
putting the
person, the
person, the
human, at the
human at
center
the
of things
center of
and
things, and
redesigning the
redesigning the
processes
processes
around that
around that
actually gave us
actually gave
results
us
with a
results
lot
with a
of
lot of
time that got
time that got
saved,
saved,
where we could
where we could
utilize that
utilize
time
that
for
time for
development of those
development of those
individuals.
individuals.
So we were
So
able
we
to
were able to
actually
actually
plug in
plug
time
in
in their
time in their
calendar,
calendar,
which were
which were
focused on
focused
learning
on
and
learning and
development,
development,
while routine
while
work
routine
was
work
going on.
was
Now
going
that
on.
that
Now that
wouldn't have
wouldn't have
happened if
happened
we had
if
not
we had not
applied a
applied
human
a
centric
human
approach. So
centric
this is
approach.
an
So this is an
example that I
example
wanted
that
to
I wanted
cite
to cite
for this
for this
fact.
fact.
Thanks for sharing that, Harini. And this is very interesting because when she spoke about about elimination, generally whenever we start a design thinking program, I ask the participants, according to you, what is happiness? And they always say that happiness is, getting more money, getting that peace of mind, getting this, getting that. So it is more like, happiness is having it all. But as a design thinker, we always say happiness is about eliminating things that you don't want in life. So while the intent is the same, the thought process is a little different. All right, and that is exactly what we will try and inculcate in these 8 hours of learning. And that is why we say these 8 core hours of training will give you much more than probably a classroom program of 16 hours. So that is how this entire thing has been curated. Also, the thing that Harini spoke about, we will be bringing those live pieces to you so that we can also understand, where we could have done it a little more better, and you will be able to understand, what are the ways in which this came out to be more beautiful, right? So with that, let's move forward. Design thinking is a step-by-step process, which is like empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. Myth or fact? Fact. Okay, Sonal says myth. Okay, Dhananjay, fact. Myth. Okay, Ruchi, fact. Welcome to the world of myths, my dear friends. Design thinking is not a step by step process, it is actually a spiral bound process. And I'll actually ask Harini to actually say something because she has a beautiful example to quote. Harini, if you can explain this one as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So while
So while
the
the
design thinking
design thinking
methodology
methodology
clearly
clearly
identifies five
identifies five
steps,
steps,
the story
the
doesn't
story
end
doesn't
there.
end there.
And some of
And
you
some
who
of
have
you who have
heard
heard
some of my
some of
talks
my talks
which are there
which are
on
there
YouTube
on
around
YouTube
design
around
thinking in
design
HR,
thinking
there
in
has
HR,
been
there have been
two very
two very
distinct
distinct
examples
examples
of
of
how
how
it was
it was
applied
applied
for
for
two
two
policies that we
policies
made.
that
One
we
was a
made. One
dress
was a
code
dress
policy,
code
and the other
policy,
one
and the
was a
other one was a
parental leave
parental
policy.
leave policy.
So,
So,
if it was
if it
a
was a
step-by-step
step-by-step
process, then
process,
the
then
dress
the
code
dress code
policy would have
policy would
been
have been
that
that
I go to
I
my
go to my
stakeholders and
stakeholders
ask
and
them,
ask them,
have the
have
empathy
the empathy
conversation, figure
conversation,
out
figure out
what is it
what
that
is
they
it that
want,
they want,
and
and
interpret that,
interpret
do
that,
all the
do all the
steps, make a
steps, make a
prototype,
prototype,
test it,
test
and
it,
then
and
launch
then
the
launch the
policy.
policy.
What would have
What would have
happened is I would
happened
have
is I would
still
have
had
still
some
had some
people who are
people
not
who are
so
not
happy
so
about
happy
what they
about
did
what they did
because they
because
might
they
not
might
have
not
conveyed
have
all
conveyed
that they
all that they
wanted.
wanted.
Moreover,
Moreover,
the empathy
the empathy
conversations would have
conversations would
happened
have
only with the
happened only
cross
with the
section
cross
of the
section of
people,
the
and
people,
I'm still
and I'm
not
still
sure
not
whether I've
sure whether
covered
I've
others
covered
or whether
others or whether
all aspects
all
have been
aspects have
carried
been
out.
carried out.
So, in this
So, in
particular
this particular
example, when you were
example, when
working
you
on
were
a
working
dress
on a
code
dress code
policy
policy
revision,
revision,
it went
it
through
went through
cycle. After the
cycle. After the
empathy
empathy
conversation,
conversation, we
we did the
we did the
ideation,
ideation, we did
we did the
we did
definition
the
of the
definition of
problem,
the problem,
created a
created a
prototype, went
prototype, went
back to
back
the
to the
empathy
empathy
audience whom we
audience
had
whom
those
we had those
conversations, and
conversations, and
asked them to
asked them to
validate whether
validate
our
whether
approach
our
was
approach
right and
was
whether
right and
it
whether
was
it was
taking us to the
taking
right
us to the right
direction. We
direction.
went
We
back to
went
a
back
cross
to a
section
cross
of
section
people
of
which
people
involved
which involved
others and
others
did
and did
several
several
iterations.
iterations.
So in
So
fact, I
in
even
fact,
had
I
a
even had a
situation of
situation of
one
one
typical not
typical
so
not so
popular HR
popular HR
policy,
policy,
which was
which
for
was for
late hours
late
of
hours of
working.
working.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, believe
Now,
me, this
believe me, this
policy was
policy was
complex
complex
because this was
because
in
this
an
was in an
organization which
organization
had
which had
different
different
types of
types of
businesses under
businesses
it,
under it,
right? So
right?
it
So
had
it
people
had
who had
people
a
who had a
global
global
clientele to
clientele
work
to
with.
work
So
with.
they had
So
to
they
work
had to work
24 by
24 by
7 from
7 from
anywhere. So
anywhere.
they had to
So
be
they had
given
to be
certain
given certain
flexibility of in
flexibility
and
of
out
in and
time.
out time.
It also
It
had
also
one of
had
the
one of the
clients who was
clients
from
who
the
was
Middle
from the
East
Middle
countries
East
who were
countries
very
who were very
particular about
particular about
actually
actually
clocking time
clocking
on the
time on the
attendance
attendance
system.
system.
It had
It
another
had
set
another
of
set of
millennials who
millennials
wanted
who wanted
absolute
absolute
flexibility,
flexibility,
and it was a
and it was a
traditional
traditional
organization which had
organization which
people
had
who were
people who
very
were
very
very
particular
particular
about
about
coming to the
coming to
office
the
on
office
time and
on time
leaving
and
on time.
leaving
So
on
this
time.
was
So
the
this
kind
was a
of
kind of
audience,
audience,
and we
and
wanted to
we
have
wanted to
one
have
policy
one
which
policy
caters
which
to
caters to
everybody.
everybody.
So if I
So if
were
I
to
were
pick up
to
a
pick up
cross
a cross
section
section
of
of
people
people
and then
and
go
then go
back and
back
forth
and
on
forth
this
on this
5 steps
5
and
steps
release
and
the
release the
policy,
policy,
I'm almost
I'm
sure
almost sure
within a month or
within a
so I
month
would
or
have
so I
had to
would have had to
revoke it
revoke
because
it because
somebody or the
somebody or
other
the
would
other
have
would have
not been
not been
satisfied with
satisfied with
what was
what was
outlined in the
outlined in the
policy, and it would
policy,
not
and it
have
would not
catered
have
to
catered
all,
to all.
and or
And
I would have
or I
had
would
to
have
come
had
up
to
with
come up with
frequent
frequent
amendments of the
amendments of
policy.
the
Now
policy. Now
that's quite a
that's quite
waste
a
of
waste
time, I
of
would
time,
say,
I
for
would
an
say,
HR
for an HR
professional
professional
to keep
to keep
to work on
work
one
on one
policy for the
policy for
rest
the
of your
rest of
lives.
your lives.
So why
So
not we
why
come
not
up
we
with
come up with
something
something
which
which
can
can
really be
really be
flexible?
flexible?
It can
It
cater
can
to
cater
all
to all
kinds of
kinds of
types of
types of
businesses, not
businesses,
only the
not
ones
only
which
the
are
ones which are
currently
currently
existing,
existing,
but also
but
the
also
future
the
types of
future types
business
of
models
business
that can
models that
likely
can
to come.
likely to come.
So with that in mind, we did all these steps in a cyclic, iterative manner 7 times. We actually had 7 rounds of discussion with different levels of stakeholders at different geographies. And finally, what came out as a policy document actually not only catered to the current types of businesses that were there and their needs in terms of working late hours, but it also gave a direction to what would happen in the future if you had another type of business that would require an absolutely different kind of an attendance mechanism. So with that, something which it's very easy to circulate on a WhatsApp group and say, does any of you have a policy document for late hours of working? Just make a few tweaks here and there and release it. But when you do that, it's quite possible that that policy may not be able to sustain the needs of the business. And most important is when if HR has to really be there to as a true business partner in the true sense and drive the business along with the business leaders, then it has to have a lot of foresight also. What new challenges can come? And for HR policies and for HR guidelines to be able to talk about challenges that will come and also be ready or flexible enough to cater to them, I think this iterative process is the magic. So applying this for various procedures and processes that are touch points in an employee life cycle, and following it to the T to ensure that it is absolutely cyclic and iterative is what gives those results where the policies or those processes can even outlive the HR.
And what we will be doing in the workshop is we will be telling you how you can run this parallelly, right? And that is how beautiful this methodology is. That one is that yes, it is iterative. So you may be thinking कि नहीं, business हमको शायद इतना time नहीं देगा. We want to really do it faster. So that is also something that we will tell you how to run this parallelly in a way that you can get faster results. However, a complete methodology will be given to you in a way that you can find long term permanent solutions rather than just quick fixes or your short term instant kind of solutions per se. So the case that Harini spoke about also, we will be creating that into a case study and we will be giving it to you so that you can understand how it was applied there, and again you can give your own perspective as to how it can be used in different areas, right? Moving on, design thinking is only for designers. Quickly, myth or fact? Yeah, of course, I'm not a designer, so I know that you've understood that it is a myth. Yes, you're right. While it started, I think in 1965, it started as a creative process for designing. What has now happened is it has evolved, and IDEO, which was formed by 3 innovation labs, they have come up with processes that even a layman can utilize both in the professional as well as the personal areas. It is just about understanding the intent behind the application of this process, and that is how it will help you. If you go and look at the global scenario, there are around 7 to 8 different types of design thinking adaptations that have happened. So, different organizations have adapted it very differently and they put it as their model, right? But there are certain very simplistic ways also, which we will obviously cover in the masterclass, and we will give you an option as to which of those 2 or 3 that we know of you can utilize and is the best fit for your kind of business. So this may not sound very exciting right now, but when you actually do it, you will be able to get an idea on how is it that you can adapt this methodology or tweak this methodology to get faster results, right? All right, the last one, design thinking is just another tool for innovation and problem solving. Myth fact? Okay, so myth, fact, myth. Right. So, yes, this is a myth, and Harini will bust this myth. So, Harini?
So the very fact that design thinking has been experimented and utilized by me and a lot of my team members in our HR practice itself shows that it is not a tool meant for innovation and problem solving, because many a time we don't pick up design thinking as a methodology for only when there is a problem in front of us or when we have to do something novel. Design thinking to me is very simply a way of life. Okay, when you're because the core of it is putting people in the middle of everything. The core of it is it all begins with empathy. So when you're starting with empathy, it's you're putting yourself in the shoes of the end customer and you're trying to look at it from that perspective, and then you're going through the entire process. So it is not necessary that it has to be the outcome has to be something innovative, something novel, or whether there is a problem. Sometimes design thinking as a process, as a methodology, also helps you to anticipate what could become a problem much later. For example, we used to run a very successful initiative where HR team members were asked to be on the floor and gather the pulse of the employees, right? So gathering pulse of the employees we were not expected to do anything innovative. We were not even expected to solve a problem, but simply by gathering the pulse of the employee, by doing those empathy conversations with them, we were in a position to anticipate what could become a grievance in the future. So when we are able to anticipate that and come up with a solution or come up with the design of a process right now, then the whole the point of view of HR becomes a lot more proactive than being reactive. Therefore, when you start applying the methodology of design thinking, what it does to you, it opens up your brain, it opens up your mind to be able to visualize, to be able to anticipate, to be able to think ahead of the curve, at the same time putting yourself in the shoes of the end customer. So what you will actually end up delivering will not be something by which it comes out by shooting in the dark or because you think it's the right thing to do, but it'll be something which most probably means 99%, it would be something that the end customer really wishes to have right down in the future. So if you actually go back into history and read all those products or all those services, if you're able to find them where design thinking as a methodology was applied, they're all not necessarily about being innovative or for solving certain problems. Many of them actually came up because somebody was able to anticipate what the next need would be. So in HR also, anticipating what the next need would be, I think would put HR practitioners ahead of the curve amongst fellow HR people if they start thinking proactive. So that's what design thinking is. It's a tool which helps you to put yourself in the shoes of your end customer and deliver in catering to their anticipations.
So, this is a lot of customers or clients of mine wherein when I conducted design thinking programs, they came up with this saying, bro, ये क्या है यार, ये नया तुम कुछ नया word लेके आए हो जो innovation और problem solving को redefine करता है. But no, it's way beyond that. And once we finished the session, they were like, it really opened our minds. This is what we didn't expect out of this program, because we had a lot of myths, because people keep googling and they try and look at different things, people doing blogging and all of that. So my only submission to you over here is that experience this in the masterclass, and that's the best way to understand how this can really help you. So if you are to move forward in this, you have to unlock this by of course there is of course a fee to this particular module. And yes, there is a small fee offer that is going on for registering till the 8th of May. If you are able to register by the 8th of May, and hold on to your horses, I will tell you what we are going to be covering exactly in those 8 hours. The investment is going to be 5,000 per individual. And I'll also tell you what you will get in this particular investment that you do. If you come in groups of 3 or 5, you can of course connect with me and I will be able to tell you how this will be built. So 4,500 is that per individual, and if it's a group of 6 or more, it will be 4,000 per individual. Because there was a request from the last batch also that we were not able to take a lot of participants. That's why we've increased it to 25. but we can't take anybody beyond 25 because then it becomes a pravachan, and we don't want to really do a pravachan. We want to really focus on giving value to all the people who come in. Of course, if you pay after 8th May, which is okay, the program is going to be from the 14th of May to the 17th of May, and it will be 2 hours per day. If you pay after the 8th May, which is you're not sure and you still want to contemplate, then these are the investment rates per se. If you want a GST invoice, of course, I'll be able to provide you one, but you will have to get in touch with me separately. uh, Either today or tomorrow you will get a payment link, so please do register and block your seats, because the pre-work will come to you by the 10th of May, and that pre-work is a Harvard case study that we will be using in the program. So if you are keen on joining us, and of course I understand, at this point in time money is very, very important to all of us, so that is why this subsidized fee has been kept. uh, Try and save as much money as you can. You have time until the 8th of May to register for this program. So now I'm going to be telling you what we will be covering as a part of the masterclass. As a part of the masterclass, what we will be doing is, the first day we will be deep diving into design thinking. There are certain mindsets that are required. So Harini and I will be covering the mindsets that are required to go into design thinking. We will introduce you to something called as a three circle model. So how do you identify that this is a design challenge, or this is a simple innovation and a problem solving, or a creative problem solving challenge? And we will tell you how to inculcate a designer's mindset. And with this, we will of course be using tried and tested case studies for you. Day two, we will be focusing on empathy mapping. There are three versions of empathy mapping that we will be using. Of course, the one which we will do live is just one version, but the participant handout that you get will have three versions of empathy maps. So you will be able to use the three different types of empathy maps. We will, of course, simulate the live HR cases for application. And on day two, we will also define and refine the problem statement, because we will have had all the data from the empathy map per se, right? I will also give you the setup of how to conduct an empathy interview, what is required. It's a ready-made setup. आपको सिर्फ copy paste करना है, nothing else, right? I'm going to be making it very easy. Uh, Day three, we will be focusing on visual ideation techniques. We will generate ideas. Here, we will be doing synthesizing also. In visual ideation techniques, how to synthesize. What are those two very powerful tools which can help you to synthesize it in a way which will act as a pre prototype? Now, I know it sounds very interesting. So, yeah, what is a pre-prototype? That is something that we will cover in the masterclass. As to, let's say you do not want to get to the prototyping phase because prototyping can sometimes be very expensive. So, how do you go to a pre-prototype phase? What is this synthesizing tool? Now, that is something that we will explain to you, and you will have a ready reckoner at the end of day three, which will give you a complete idea of how design thinking will really help you. But yeah, if you are going to be missing any of these, do not worry. It's not as if we will leave you. We will be doing a one-on-one coaching with you in case you have already invested in this program. So in case you're not able to attend on one of the days, we will choose a day wherein we will be able to cover this particular aspect with you. Okay, so that is the flexibility that we are giving to you when you invest with us, that we are not going to just leave you saying you missed the bus, you can go off home and you can do whatever you want. No, we're not going to be doing that. If you miss out on something, I will personally communicate with you, and we will be able to share a lot of information with each other. Harini, of course, we will look at a time when she's also free, and in case you are in case both of us are there, we will be able to help you out. So don't worry about that. And day four, we will be giving you ready setups for design research methodologies. There are four setups that I will be giving you. This will be a part of your participant handbook, and there will be a design challenge. So you will be actually applying the design thinking process in a given time. So as to understand whatever you have learned, how is it that you will be able to apply this, and that will give you the certification. So what does your investment cover? What does that 5,000, 6,500, 4,500 really cover? right? So what's in it for you? The first thing is the content we're going to give you is going to be in line with Stanford and IDEO. And that program is approximately around $350, if I'm not mistaken. That's the MIT program, but Stanford is 15 lakh. That's what I had the last knowledge of. If it's less, great. I mean, fantastic, but it's not as low as this one. But yeah, you will get content which is in line with Stanford and IDEO as a participant handout. This will come to you right at the end of the program because we want you to experience this rather than just look at the content. There will be 7+ tools which will be handed over to you, which will be globally accessed and the Indianized version of those tools with their live setups. What you will also get is service prototyping for service industries and visual ideation techniques. Like I said, for design research setups. So if even if you're in your business, all right. So even if you're an entrepreneur, this will be able to help you with you conducting empathy interviews with your client. So that's another thing that we give you. And yeah, of course, we have tried and tested HR case studies to give you an insight on the how. So while the what and the why will be covered, the how will be the major focus in this particular thing. And last and most important is yes, you will get a certification of learning post the design challenge. Of course, there are certain parameters that we will tell you. It's very easy. Don't worry. Even if you've applied those pieces in the end, you will get that certificate because I know certification is really important. And your certificate would look something like this, right? So what will happen is you will be not only given this certificate of learning, but you will also end up getting a lot of insights from our side. And of course, post this program, if you want to be in touch with any one of us to understand anything, you will be absolutely free to do that per se. And now, the most important part of the program is questions. I will now open the floor to questions, and Harini and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. So, yes, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, and we will be more than happy to answer those. And if you do not want to say, you can always put it in the chat box. Yes, any questions that any one of you has regarding this masterclass? Wow, itna sannata. No questions? All right, that's interesting. Harini, would you like to put an ending note to this? Because, okay,
Yeah,
sorry, we have,
I just
sorry, we just have one question, Harini. Sorry. Uh, will it be
yeah, yeah.
helpful for a startup firm with 10, 15 employees? Hell yeah, absolutely, Aditi. It will be helpful for even if you are just starting your business as a freelancer. It will help you. It will run with 10, 15 people also. It can run for 100 people organization, for a 12,000 people organization, for a global organization. It will run for all of you. So don't worry about it. It will be really helpful to you. Trust me on that. Yes, Bhavani.
Hi,
Hi,
Prabhat.
Prabhat. Yeah. So,
Uh, yeah, Prabhat, this is Kathy here. I have a
I have a
question.
question. Yeah, bolo.
Um,
Suno.
so the thing
So the
is,
thing is,
I am
I
talking
am
from a
talking
very
from a
junior
very
employee point of view.
Sonal, your voice is
I'm
breaking.
going to
Sonal, your voice is breaking. Can you just type the question, please?
sure.
Sure. Yeah. So to answer Khyati, is this code? No, it's not just open for HR professionals. It's open for everyone. However, there will be a little more focus on the HR case studies. But yes, you will also get an idea on how design thinking can be applied. So, let's say you are the odd one out, okay, and there are 15 HR employees and you are the only one. Harini and I will also help you to understand what is it that you can do with a non-HR case. So, Harini is also operating at a strategic level with many organizations. She is on the board as a consultant with many organizations. So, not only HR, but she will also be able to help you with that. I am consulting many organizations, so I will be able to help you with that. So, Khyati, your answer is no, it is not just open for HR professionals, it is open for everyone. But yes, the focus will be on the HR case studies. That because this is an HR masterclass. Yes, Sonal, we are waiting for your question.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
while
while
Sonal is
Sonal is
typing,
typing,
I just
I just
thought
thought
let me
let
just
me
touch
just
upon
touch
a couple
upon
of
a couple of
points for the
points for
benefit
the
of
benefit of
Aditi and
Aditi and
Kathy.
Kathy.
Aditi, if she's
Aditi,
still
if she's
there,
still there,
I have
I have
worked
worked
in my
in
entire
my entire
career with
career with
an
an
organization which is
organization which
run
is run
by
by
a
a
family-run
family run
business
business
to a
to a
multinational.
multinational.
I've worked
I've worked
in
in
industries which
industries
range
which range
from
from
active pharma
active pharma
ingredient
ingredient
manufacturing to
manufacturing to
ITES
ITES
to
to
electronics
electronics
manufacturing to
manufacturing
project
to project
management.
management.
And
And
design thinking
design
is one
thinking
thing
is
which
one
is
thing which is
absolutely
absolutely
industry
industry
agnostic,
agnostic,
business
business
complexity
complexity
agnostic, size
agnostic,
of
size of
organization
organization
agnostic,
agnostic,
because the
because the
focus is
focus
it is
it is
people
people
centered
centered
approach, right?
approach, right?
So it is
So it is
so all
so
of these
all of these
methodologies which you
methodologies
will
which you
learn
will
as
learn as
takeaways from the
takeaways from the
workshop, from the
workshop, from the
masterclass, are
masterclass
ones
are
which
ones
can
which
be
can be
applied
applied
irrespective of
irrespective
any
of
of
any
these,
of
whether
these,
it is a
whether it is
small
a small
startup or whether
startup
it
or
is a
whether it is a
complex
complex
organization.
organization.
That's one.
That's one.
And
And
to Kathy's
Kathy's
question,
question,
it
I
just slipped my
just
mind.
slipped my
What
mind.
was
What
Kathy's
was
question?
Kathy's question?
I wanted to add a
Wanted to
point
add a
there.
point there.
will this work for startup with 10 to no? That's Aditi. Sorry.
No,
No,
Is this
Kathy's
open
Kathy's
for
question
question.
is
everybody?
only
For
for the
Yeah,
yeah.
Bruhas did
Dhruv
answer
did
that, but
answer
I just
that, but
want
I
to
just want to
reiterate that
reiterate that
the whole
the whole
idea of
idea of
why this
why
came up
this came up
was
was
because I
because I
dreamt that I
dreamt that
wanted
I
to give
wanted to give
something back
something
to
back
HR
to HR
fraternity.
fraternity.
Okay, and I
Okay, and I
noticed that
noticed
there
that there
isn't an
isn't an
effective
effective
design
design
thinking
thinking
program which is
program which is
curated
curated
specifically for the
specifically
HR
for the HR
fraternity,
fraternity,
and therefore
and
this whole
therefore this
idea
whole
of this
idea of this
masterclass came up.
masterclass came up.
So
So
while
while
Bruhad and I
Dhruvad and
both
I
have
both
the
have the
flexibility
flexibility
and
and
the
the
bandwidth with
bandwidth
us
with us
to come
to
up
come
with
up with
cases which will
cases which
cater
will
to
cater
people
to
other
people
than
other
HR.
than HR.
Our
Our
intent for this
intent for this
masterclass is to
masterclass is to
focus on
focus
HR
on HR
practitioners so that
practitioners so
they
that
start
they
using this
start using this
methodology
methodology
properly.
properly.
So the
So
focus
the
will
focus
remain
will
there
remain
because
there
this is
because this
one
is
thing which
one
I
thing
really
which I
want to
really
give
want to
back to
give
the
back to the
fraternity and
fraternity
make them
and
more
make them more
credible HR
credible HR
professionals.
professionals.
Okay.
So, Dhananjay, yes, you will be able to, apply this to processes already set in the organization, and we will be using that particular piece during the masterclass, so that it helps you to, tweak it to your processes. Of course, you can always bring it to the table, and like Ruchi also asked this question, that will it be, live scenarios over and above these case studies that we are going to bring? Absolutely. We are actually looking forward to live case studies because we want you to experience design thinking, and we are not doing it just as a एक मेरे हमारे पास कुछ content है and हम लोग को थोप देना है and we want to finish it off. No, we are going to be playing live, and that's the beauty, and which is why Harini and I have always collaborated with each other, because our thought process is very similar. We want our participants to, at the end of the day, come and tell us that Harini and Bruhar, what you said has really added value. Irrespective of whatever content it is, if we are able to add value, we will be the happiest. And I'm sure if you've heard Harini's YouTube videos, and if you hear my podcasts also, you will realize that we will be taking that into account. And Sonal, yes, as a junior most employee, we will be able to help you to make you understand how to use empathy with your seniors, so that when you use empathy mapping with your seniors, you will be able to get the pulse of the senior management. And once you get the pulse of the senior management, it's very easy to tweak your solutions. See, whether they're accepted or not is a later part, all right, and that depends on the organization mindset. But yes, this learning will stay with you at least for the next 10 years, is a guarantee that I am going to give you. Khyati is asking, ma'am, why I asked, because of the department manager wants to join to deal better with their team, hence thought to ask. Harini, would you want to answer that, because that question is specifically for you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why not?
why not?
But anybody can
Anybody
join
can
this
join this
masterclass.
masterclass.
Definitely not a
Definitely
problem,
not a
for a
problem,
simple
for a
reason that
simple
I
reason that I
strongly believe
strongly believe
everyone is
everyone is
ultimately a
ultimately
people
a people
manager,
manager,
whether the
whether
person
the
is in
person is
HR
in
or
HR
not,
or not.
right? So the future, the new normal is going to heavily be focused on how you manage your people better. So it makes a lot of sense if there are others other than HR who are interested. If they come on board, it's fantastic. However, in order that they are able to apply whatever they're learning in the masterclass readily at work, we will be collecting certain demographic information of the participants beforehand so that we are able to deliver value for money that's getting paid. So, like I said, while I definitely want to give back to the HR fraternity, I'm also very, very keen on developing better people managers and better people leaders in the future. And that's what is the current need of the hour. So more than welcome, but we would want to understand a few demographic details so that we're able to curate the content more specific.
And while that is being said, what will also help you to understand is when you go through this masterclass, you will be able to ask us questions, even prior and after the masterclass. So, we are not restricting ourselves only to the masterclass. Like Harini also said that, we believe in adding value, and the value only comes when you get a solution, right? We are not consultants who will just come and consult you and go away. We will be with you through and through, and the kind of material that is being shared right now from Harini's side and my side also is more to add value. To just give you a very simple example, I have started an Instagram live which is focusing on designing a stress-free mindset, and I'm getting such good responses on that. Harini is hosting so many free webinars on HR per se, and I don't need to say that, but she is getting fantastic response. And I would, any day go and listen to her for 24 hours, because she's just a very different personality, and that's how we connect with each other a lot, right? So that's what we are trying to give you over here, right? And trust me, Harini and I are not from the sales background, so हम लोग बेच नहीं रहे just to assure you of that. All right. So
Yeah,
Vidya,
absolutely.
so Vidya is asking, will it be helpful to the HR consultant who's dealing with companies who have less than 10 employees, because these people are a bit hard to manage? Yes, Vidya, you will be able to apply it everywhere. Like we said, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing live. All right. So we will give you an option at the beginning of the program. So once we have all the registrations, when I create a WhatsApp group, we will be floating out, a message which says, if you have any queries, or if you want to utilize any problems over here, bring it to the table, we will help you solve it. How open can this be? We are going to help you absolutely live, and that is where this masterclass is different from the others, because generally people have a preset notion, preset content. We're not going to be bringing that preset content. While Stanford and IDEO have given us certain parameters on which the content has to be there, there are certain tweaks that as Indians we वो थोड़ा जुगाड़ हम कर ही लेते हैं, और वो हमने किया है. We have done that. Yeah. So yes, Khyati is agreeing, and Sureka, you're most welcome, and I hope to see you in the program, because not only as HR professionals, but trust me, you will also be able to use this in personal life, and how beautiful can this be? I mean, if you can use it in personal life and become a lot more happy, why would you not want it to happen? So that's where we are coming here for, and Harini and I have always created content which has been long term, right? And the organizations that have not appreciated it are seeing both of us right now outside that organization. All right. So while we are going to tell you what works, we will also tell you what doesn't work with what kind of mindset, and how do you get through that mindset, because those are the people who are the most tough nuts to crack, and I'm sure all of you agree with that. कि वो जो ट्रेडिशनल थिंकिंग उसको निकालना कैसे, उसको झंझोड़े कैसे, वो भी हम आपको बताएंगे, बिकॉज विथ द 2.5 years 3 years of my consulting experience, with my coaching experience, Harini's strategy experience and transformation experience, we've met all sorts of people, and we will be able to tell you exactly कौन सी personality type के साथ क्या करना चाहिए. So that's also a ready reckoner that you will probably get. Yeah. So yeah, Harini, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, so there are lots and lots of learnings which are going to be there. That's for sure. Apart from that, I did notice a lot of most of the names here, people whom I have interacted with in one or the other webinars. And why I remember all these names is I've always encouraged people to stay in touch with me whenever they have anything that they want to bounce an idea with me about. So I've always done that, and that is going to continue because that's how I am, and that's pretty much how Growth is as well. So I think that is something where again, the whole thing circles around what is it that we want to give back to the fraternity. I certainly want to do something to the fraternity which has made me what I am today, to the people who have made me what I am today. And these relationships don't end with the masterclass. So I just want to reiterate that the biggest takeaway for you will be this relationship, which is certainly going to go a long way in exploring through and navigating through your professional journeys and hitting success. Because for me, I have remained connected with a lot of my mentors. I remain connected with a lot of my team members of the past, the recent past as well. I do believe a lot in reverse mentoring. So for me, a relationship here does not remain restricted to the masterclass. It goes way beyond. Of course, subject to availability of everyone's time and complexity of the matter and the level of involvement. But definitely, when you need to bounce an idea, we'll always be there even after this is over. And that's one very big takeaway, which I'm very sure not many can guarantee to give that. But because I know Bruhat very well, he knows me very well, we both of us can vouch for it and speak on behalf of each other as well.
And that's exactly why we are collaborating today. Many people don't believe that Harini was my ex-boss, and everyone says that तुम अपने boss के साथ कैसे इतना अच्छे से बात कर सकते हो. But the kind of wavelength match that I've had with Harini, I'm sure many people who are already seconding whatever I've said about Harini, is a reflection of what she is as a personality. That's why we are collaborating, and that's why we are trying very very hard to get in people, because it's going to be a really enriching experience. If you go out of this experience without value, I will give you a stamp paper and you can change my name. As it is, my name is very tough, so you can easily change my name and you can make it anything that is sounding easy. All right, but yeah, that's a guarantee from both Harini and my side that you will get the value that you deserve, right? And I think there are no more questions. So being a Sunday, I think all of you need to go back to your families. If you have any queries, any questions, I'm putting down my number over here. uh, Now, this would be my number. So, Aditi, we are right now exploring a 5:30 to a 7:30. But what will happen is, once we form the WhatsApp group, uh, we will use the evening time the weekdays, and we will use the pre-evening time in the weekends, because I think weekends are more family time. So we will be flexible with that particular approach. The first 2 days, which is the 14th and the 15th, will be 5:30 to 7:30, and the next 2 days we will ask the participants as to what they are comfortable with, and if there is a lot of mismatch, then it continues to be 5:30 to 7:30. Like I said, again, if you miss out on that particular day, we will be getting in touch with you personally, and we will coach you personally in case you miss out that particular opportunity to come in the class. So Aditi, don't worry, we are with you always. All right, of course we won't be recording that because content थोड़ा सा confidential है, so we won't be recording that piece. But yeah, I will ensure that you get the exact value that is being covered in the class, in case you miss out on any other in any class for that matter, right? So with that, this is my number, 98208934. I'm available on WhatsApp. You can also give me a call in case you want to know more, or in case you want to talk about something else. Please feel free. Harini will be a little busy in the next week with her project, so it'll be difficult for her to answer your questions. But yeah, all those who are in touch with Harini already, and in case she's not able to answer, she will divert it to me, and I will be able to answer most of her questions. Right. So with that, thank you very much once again for spending your Sunday evening with us. I really look forward to your nominations, and Harini and I look forward to enriching your lives with value addition. Uh, Thank you, Dhananjay, and all of you. Stay safe, stay quarantined, and we will see you shortly. All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone. Stay
everyone.
safe.
Stay safe.